In recent decades, journalism has been faced with challenges. So, what has happened to journalism? The rise of the internet has a great impact on journalism, specifically the ways it is produced and consumed. Because the internet democratizes people, ordinary people can get involved in journalism. It takes steps for people to feel enthusiastic about the changes in journalism. The internet not only speeds up spread of news, but also helps people gain information in various ways. Thus, journalism now becomes a collaborative process in an imaginary way, which is unexpected. For example, even small pieces of ordinary video can be of a new type of journalism. An essay is a chance to identify your read and learned. As a writer, you first need to collect many materials, then write an essay in 4 or 5 paragraphs, structures, and quotes. If someone is searching for a book or article to read, he or she will decide from the very beginning whether this work is worth attention. If you want to wow your teacher, polish the introduction, especially the first couple of sentences. Add an essay hook, something interesting, funny, shocking, or intriguing to win the reader's attention. Build an emotional connection with your reader right from the start. A hook in the essay is a catchy sentence or paragraph in the impressive introduction which serves as an attention element and an important part. An excellent hook sentence is engaging and interesting. It is a perfect method to start an argumentative or persuasive essay. The hook for your essay often appears in the first sentence. The opening paragraph includes a thesis sentence. Some popular hook choices can include using an interesting quote, a little-known fact, famous last words, or a statistic. Musicians are said to have better language skills. And scientific studies have backed that up. But it's not clear why that might be the case. Now, a study of 74 Chinese kindergartners suggests 6 months of piano lessons can heighten the brain's response to changes in pitch. And kids who got piano lessons were also better at telling apart two similar sounding Mandarin words, which contained different consonants, than were students who got extra reading training, or who just went through regular kindergarten. The results are in the proceedings of the National Academy of Sciences. Mandarin is a tonal language, the famous example being the word ma, which can mean mother or horse depending on its pitch. So might musical training translate better to Mandarin than, say, English? Yeah, it's possible that influenced the results. Robert D. Simone, a neuroscientist at the McGovern Institute at MIT. But he says other studies do back up the fact that music lessons benefit language learners, even in countries without tonal languages. And what our study added on top of that was also some idea of the neural basis. Lead-in time is the amount of time that elapses between a business placing an order with a supplier for more stock or raw materials, and the delivery of the goods to the business. Businesses want the lead time to be as short as possible, so that they can meet their customer orders and minimize the time between paying for the stock and receiving the feedback from the customer. However, this may not happen due to a number of factors, such as delays in the supplier receiving the order or the breakdown of the supplier's lorries delivering the stock to the business. So, palm oil is the most widely produced oil crop currently. It's used in a wide range of industries, including food for biofuels and in soaps and shampoo. However, those sectors growing fast, and unfortunately palm oil grows in exactly the same environment as tropical rainforest. So, the use and the development of palm oil, the growth in the sector, is leading to wide-scale deforestation. What we are hoping to do is, if we can come up an alternative, we can slow the growth of the sector and therefore stop the wide-scale deforestation in South Asia. We've decided to adopt, just as a loose theme for the course, a biological theme so that you can see the connections between chemistry and biology and the things you might consider doing in the future. We want you to think about the molecules that are relevant to your body, the processes that occur in your body, the chemistry that's going on, and how energy plays a role. And we've divided the course into 4 sections, and after each section there will be a midterm. The first one is about matter. We've run a few different studies and found that the number one purchase people say they regret, after bank fees, is eating out. It's a frequent purchase we make almost every day, and it's death by 1,000 cuts. A coffee here, a burrito there. It adds up and decreases our ability to save. Back when I lived in New York City, I looked at my expenses and saw that I spent over $2,000 on ride-sharing apps. It was more than my New York City rent. I vowed to make a change. And the next month, I spent $2,000 again, no change, because the information alone didn't change my behavior. I didn't change my environment. So now that I was $4,000 in the hole, I did two things. The first is that I unlinked my credit card from my car sharing apps. Instead, I linked a debit card that only had $300 a month. If I needed more, I had to go through the whole process of adding a new card, and we know that every click, every barrier, changes our behavior. We aren't machines. We don't carry around an abacus every day, adding up what we're spending, in comparison to what we wanted. But what our brains are very good at is counting up the number of times we've done something. So I gave myself a limit. I can only use ride-sharing apps 3 times a week. It forced me to ration my travels. I got a handle on my car sharing expenses to the benefit of my husband, because of the environmental changes that I did. First there was the keyboard, then the touchscreen. Some tech companies say a wearable pair of glasses could be the next leap in technology, even if it didn't work out for Google Glass. In the future, we won't be only limited to our smartphones when it comes to understanding the world around us. So this is our early investment in that future. The US-based company Snap's investment is this, the Spectacles 3 sunglasses. This third version is smarter than the previous ones. It has 2 cameras. The corner of the glasses lights up when recording video, and allows the wearer to put 3D objects in the video. Here are some flowers. Users can capture up to a minute of video. I do not think that the arts are dependent on philanthropic efforts, which might sound to be at odds with what I do for a living, but I think that what is remarkable about the arts is that you cannot kill them. They will not die. I think of this particularly with the art form that I come out of, poetry. It actually is beautifully partnered by various social media because it can travel and be sent out in a way that fiction is a little bit trickier because fiction is.
A burro is a small donkey. Donkeys are related to horses, both are part of the equine family. Another way people say it is burro. The name comes from Spanish and, before that, from a Latin term for small horse. Burros reach an average height of over a meter and can weigh more than 225 kilograms. The long-eared animals are often gray with white noses, jaws and undersides. But they can also have coats of red or blue. Burros are known for their sure footing on mountains while carrying heavy loads. In the United States, they are best known for their history as pack animals in the desert Southwest. In fact, burros in the wild are related to pack animals that ran away or were freed by gold miners and others.
Protons are finally transferred to the LHC both in a clockwise and an anticlockwise direction, where they are accelerated for 20 minutes to 6.5 TeV. Beams circulate for many hours inside the LHC beam pipes under normal operating conditions. For each collision, the physicist's goal is to count, track, and characterize all the different particles. The charge of the particle, for instance, is obvious since particles with positive electric charge bend one way and those with negative charge bend the opposite way. Also, the momentum of the particle can be determined. Large Hadron Collider, LHC, is the world's largest particle accelerator lies in a tunnel. The LHC is a ring roughly 28 kilometers around that accelerates protons almost to the speed of light before colliding them head-on. Protons are particles found in the atomic nucleus, roughly 1,000 millionth of a meter in size. The LHC starts with a bottle of hydrogen gas, which is sent through an electric field to strip away the electrons, leaving just the protons. Electric and magnetic fields are the key to a particle accelerator. A mild form of hallucination is known as a disturbance and can occur in most of the senses above. These may be things like seeing movement in peripheral vision or hearing faint noises and/or voices. Auditory hallucinations are very common in schizophrenia. They may be benevolent, telling the subject good things about themselves, or malicious, cursing the subject, etc. Auditory hallucinations of the malicious type are frequently heard, for example, people talking about the subject behind his/her back. Like auditory hallucinations, the source of the visual counterpart can also be behind the subject's back. Their visual counterpart is the feeling of being looked or stared at, usually with malicious intent. Frequently, auditory hallucinations and their visual counterpart are experienced by the subject together. The final year will consist of 4 taught courses and 1 project. He started his tutorial presentation right on time. The research is focused on cyclone tropical forest forecasting. Interim grades will be posted on the board outside the student lounge.